Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Happy Friday to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. TGIF. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you a question. What do you think 100 or even $200 a barrel oil is going to do to your prepping? This is something that we may want to start thinking about now, if you haven't been thinking about it already. Because as this article here says, global food prices set to soar as the oil and gas crunch continues. Now, higher oil prices don't only mean higher food prices. It means higher everything prices. I'm going to show you an illustration here in a little bit so that you can understand what it means to have oil priced at a point that really is unsustainable for most people to be able to continue their standard of living. Oil isn't everything. However, oil is needed. Not that people wish they can use oil to do this because it's easier. It is needed for the production of food. Alright, for the packaging of food, for the transportation of food. See, a lot of people think that we can go on green energy and green energy alone. No, that's not true. Even oil is needed to produce those parts that we need for green energy. Alright, so here it says the potential for a knock-on effect of rising fuel prices to be felt by other industries is becoming more likely as oil and gas prices continue to rise to an all-time high. Companies are finding it hard to maintain their costs and may have to shift this burden to the consumer any day now. May have to? No, they will shift the burden to the consumer. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, a corporation or a business of any size is in business to make a profit. Be it a mom and pop shop or be it a large corporation, they are in business to make a profit, to make a living. A mom and pop shop would not open its doors if it was operating at a loss, or if it was operating at a margin where it could barely sustain keeping its doors open. So in the end, it is you and I, it is the consumer who will end up paying more when anything is affected by price. Be it oil, be it paper, be it cotton, for jeans that are going up in price and shirts that are going up in price now because cotton has gone up in price. Be it really anything. Be it even that green energy that many tout will be our salvation. We still need oil. Now, in the United States, that we no longer have control of what we pay for oil, because it is up to other nations that produce oil to supply us the difference in what we use and what we produce. Now we find ourselves as a country here in the U.S. having to ask other nations for help by ramping up their oil production. And ladies and gentlemen, I just don't see that happening. I don't see these other nations saying, okay, USA, we will ramp up our oil production because you're asking it. Especially when these other nations have broken their contracts with us and gone to other countries and dealing with them in those things that in the past we were able to provide for cheap oil. Petrol prices have risen higher and higher this year as oil makes a comeback in 2021 following a difficult year of the health crisis restrictions and low demand. This has of course been aided by the OPEC plus curbs on production that restricted oil output across member states for the first half of 2021. And while production levels are going up a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, some countries are finding it difficult to reach new OPEC targets as they review their oil and gas industries, meaning the global shortage continues. Now let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. Knowing what you know about the U.S. Federal Reserve note, about our U.S. dollar, which is a fiat currency, meaning that it's really not backed up by anything except for the labor of the citizens of the United States. Knowing what you know about that piece of paper, if you were a country right now producing something of value, producing something that actually brings value to people's lives, how willing would you be to trade that something, in this case, let's say oil, how willing will you be to trade that oil for just more of those fiat currency notes that you as a country know that the issuing country, i.e. the US, can print out of thin air? You see, these other countries, they've figured this out a long time ago. They figured out that they are producing something that takes them energy. It takes energy to get energy out of the ground. Right? It takes oil to get oil out of the ground. So these other countries, they know that they are making something, they are producing something or extracting something that takes them labor. And that in fact, all of that they are doing is trading that labor into the US and to other countries that produce their own fiat currencies for a mere piece of paper, which really is nothing but a promissory note. And what happens when these countries lose their faith in the US dollar? Do you think that they're going to continue to supply us those dollars? I think not. I think that they will slowly but surely start to demand other things instead of dollars from the US, because they see how the US has abused and continues to abuse the power of the printing press. So do I see $100, $200 a barrel oil in our future? I do. And how is that going to affect you as a prepper? How is that going to affect the things that you can get as a prepper when those new price targets hit the oil industry? Here it says, with globalization, meaning our food no longer comes from the local farm, but is mostly shipped across the globe, as well as the rising price of fertilizers, the food supply chain is finding it hard to maintain stable prices. So expect everything, ladies and gentlemen, to go up in price. It's this combination of things that's beginning to get very worrisome. It's not just the isolated price numbers for food, but all of them together. I don't think anyone 2 or 3 months ago was expecting the energy prices to get this strong. Meaning that it's not just food prices that are going up. It is everything. And as they state here, ladies and gentlemen, everything that moves tends to move across country by truck or train. So we're looking at a more expensive year of that. Essentially, anything that is used on freight, transportation, and any industry that relies on fuel or petrochemicals will likely be affected by the ongoing hike in oil prices. While the consumers are worried about petrol and diesel prices at present, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Indeed it is, ladies and gentlemen. Now take a look at this interactive page. I'm actually going to read through these so that you can actually see everything that is affected by oil. And this is only the tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen, as they previously stated. Everyone thinks about the price of oil. What's the first thing they think of? Fuels. Kerosene, heating fuels, marine fuels, diesel, gasoline, jet fuel, heating oil. That's mainly what people think about when they think about, oh my goodness, the price of oil is going up. I'm going to be paying more at the pump. But vehicles themselves, ladies and gentlemen, rely on oil. Gear oil, brake fluid, tires, fuels, car seats, bumpers, window seals, motorcycle helmets, boats, baby car seats, ambulances, helicopters. All of these things, I'm sure that many of those advocates for us to go to 100% green energy really aren't thinking about. Because those things themselves that support green energy need oil. Clothing, outdoor clothing, clothing made out of polyethylene, artificial fibers, sweaters, panties, rubber boots, running shoes, shoe soles, shoe polish. Sure, some of you may say, well, we can just make our clothes out of cotton. I don't think that we grow enough cotton in order to make all of the clothes that people need. And in order to grow cotton, ladies and gentlemen, guess what we need? We need oil. construction, traffic cones, barrier tapes, asphalt, paint, safety glasses, water pipes, tools, safety helmets, caulking. I would have never thought that caulking needs oil, but yes. Roofing shingles, plywood, adhesive, paint rollers, etc. I'm sure the list goes on. Sunglasses, carrier bags, synthetic leather, umbrellas, jewelry, luggage. Household items, paints, thermal isolation, heating oils, window frames, kitchen surfaces, non-stick pans, plastic surfaces, detergents, TVs, dishwater, faucets, trash, bags, mops. Beauty products. Take a look at all the beauty products, to include toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorant, hair dryers, nail polish. Sure, some of these things we can get by without, ladies and gentlemen. But who wants to live in a world without deodorant? Come on now. Medical. Look at the medical, ladies and gentlemen. Pharmaceuticals. Number 1. Hoses, petroleum jelly, antiseptics, vitamins, antihistamine, aspirin, heart valves, hand sanitizers, anesthetics, x-ray examination equipment, pacemakers, casts, crutches, wheelchairs, artificial hips, hearing aids, eyeglasses, contact lenses, artificial limbs, bandages, diapers, doctors' scrubs. Furniture, sports, electronics, ladies and gentlemen, cable coatings, computers, TV sets, tablets, headsets, cameras, mobile phones, photographic film, office equipment, toys, and the biggest one in my opinion, agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, oil prices are going to continue to go up. I think that there are certain entities that want oil prices to go up. Why is that? Of course, that the higher the prices, when there's nothing that the layman, you and I, can do about it, requires one of two things. One of two things. That we pay more and lower our standard of living, or that we continue to pay more for the same things we already get, but give up more of our hours, of our labor, of our life, of our time, of our freedom. That's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. So how are high oil prices going to affect your prepping? And you have to ask yourselves, am I better off keeping a stack of dollar bills in the bank, knowing that in the future those dollar bills are going to be worth less, therefore I will be able to buy less with them than what I can now? You have to ask yourselves, is it a good idea to stock up now? Is it a good idea to get as prepared as possible now? Or do you want to wait until you can get less for the labor that you've already expended to get those dollar bills that you have now? That's the question, ladies and gentlemen, because things are not going to get any easier going forward. We have many years of tough times ahead. And unless you're a millionaire / billionaire, we have tough times ahead. And who knows, even those millionaires / billionaires may lose everything themselves if the administration continues to go forward with some of the recommendations that they are making, as far as pretty much zeroing out everyone's account and then giving them all a CBDC, a centrally banked digital currency. Have you heard about that? Take a look at that. Pretty interesting. Other than that, I hope that you have a great rest of your day, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you later on today at 2 p.m. Alaska time, 6 p.m. Eastern time, to do our Friday live stream. And it's going to be open forum. Let's have a little bit of fun today, especially for those of you that are going to be on for the first time. Bring your questions. Bring your questions, those of you that are new to prepping, and bring your experience, those of you that have been preparing for a while. That way we can help each other out. And ladies and gentlemen, together we can make it through whatever comes ahead. Tough times or not, we can make it through. Why? Because in the existence of all of humankind, there has always been crises for one reason or another. And here we are. So we can make it through. The question is, how do you want to make it through? Do you want to make it through giving up your freedoms and giving up your standard of living? Or do you want to make it through strong, being able to maintain your standard of living so that you can maintain your sovereignty and your free will when the day comes that you may need something that someone else has? Don't be that person. Be the person that already has what you need in excess. That way, if there's something that you forgot, you have that excess in order to trade for those things that maybe you forgot that you now need. Having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.